It's been 4 years since we heard We're All Alone in This Together. And in that time, it sounds like Dave has grown, not just as an artist, but as a man. This album doesn't sound like therapy to me. It sounds like peace. When you're tackling topics like loss, faith, relationships, or turning the next chapter in your life, it's going to sound way different than any other album you've ever put together. Deep, it's heavy, and it feels like Dave is standing on this turning point in life where we're going to see a new and improved Dave. Let's talk about it.
The STEM Society.
What's up, people? My name is Cole Jackson. This is the weekly album check-in. We're live. Thank you for joining me. If you like what I do, because what I do is not that easy, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you guys are giving me some likes, and please comment down below. I love intellectual hip-hop conversations, so make sure you guys are a part of that. This week, I'm going to be reviewing a very anticipated album. Dave's The Boy Who Plays Harp is one of those albums I've been waiting on. I kind of called it because nobody knew if Dave was going to drop this album this year or not. And I was like, look, Dave, I said on Twitter, I'm like, if you're going to drop the album, just say that, bro. Next thing you know, we started to get the rollout. So I'm super excited. I live in the UK right now. I live in London. And the fact that Dave is such a big deal over here and he's not really that super big of a deal in the States is crazy. Dave is one of the best rappers out there, not just in the UK, but just globally, man. Great pen game. My favorite album from Dave is Psychodrama. That's one of the albums that helped me get into UK rap. So I was, when I seen the track list, when I seen Dave actually started pushing the album, I was very excited. Did this album live up to my expectations? Let's find out. The Boy Who Played Harp is Dave's third album. 10 songs, just under 50 minutes. Right from the start, you can tell that Dave is leaning into spirituality when it comes to this album. The production was the biggest tell for me. The very first song in here is called History, which features James Blake, James Blake did a phenomenal job. But you can hear in the production, the horns, the organs, the pianos, like all of those things that are stapled in the church from where I come from is right there in the song. The pacing of some of his verses on this album also gives you a big tell about he's not trying to chase any hits. He's trying to tell more stories. He's trying to tell you a different side of himself, which I love that part. I love that being the opening of the album. Dave does lean into the spirituality side of things on this album, but that does not restrict him from giving us some different kind of bars or some good bars. One of my favorite bars on here on the first song was, "You disrespect the 16, your head on a beam. You lust for the money, the head of the queen. I done shit I didn't think I could ever redeem. I'm from South where they struggle saying your name, but it's easy when pronounced you dead on the scene." When I hear verses like that, I know that he's not trying to separate the faith from real life. Like, he's not making the church side of things or the spiritual side of things feel unattainable. Like, it feels very grounded. Things still feel very street, close to the ground, and relatable. I like that. I like that he didn't give this holier than thou part on the album. Like, I like the fact that Dave wanted to make it as relatable as possible to regular people. That's one of the gifts Dave has as a writer, and he has a great pen. If you haven't heard Dave's albums, go back and listen to him. Very relatable rapper. I just think his pen game really writes to people who are like me and you. And he's from South. He can't be a bad guy. The biggest win for me here when it comes to listening to this album is how purposeful he is when it comes to his writing or the messages he's trying to send. Dave has always been an introspective guy when it comes to his album, but this feels more vulnerable. He feels like you can actually sit down and have a conversation with him, and I think it's great. He's reflecting on who he is as a man right now. He's reflecting on being a believer. He's reflecting on himself being an artist. He goes through all of these things in the album. On songs like 175 Months, he hits me hard because I'm in a similar space of my life right now. He's going through strengthening his faith, praying more, still battling contradictions when it comes to getting back into religion or getting back into spirituality. The same things he was talking about on that song are a lot of the things that I have gone through reintroducing myself to God. It's the truth. You go through a phase where you feel like, man, like, I'm going to church and everybody's going to be looking at me crazy because I haven't been to church in years. He has a line on here where he's just like, I'm in church worried about my I'm in church worried about my phone service. It's a crazy bar, and I thought that was really dope. But it felt strange for me when I started going back to church, or when I started reintroducing myself to God and trying to get my faith back. On that song, when Dave talks about the guilt and the redemption part of it, I felt it a lot. When I think about the production on here, the first thing I say is this sounds beautiful. It's so layered, but it's not very overdone. Like, most of the album is low tempo. It's got a lot of good instrumentation on here, and it works. The piano stuff, the horns, everything just sounds so good. James Blake, you are a genius. I love your contribution to hip hop. I love your contribution to this album. I love the fact that you and Dave got together to create what you guys created on here. It feels so warm and authentic. I cannot look past it. Another person on here who did a phenomenal job. He only had one song, but he did a great job. Jim Legacy, who's having a phenomenal year. He's having a great year this year. Man, continue to produce, bro. Continue to do what you've been doing, man. This is the second song that Jim Legacy produced with Dave. The first one was Sprinter on the Split Decision album. If I had to say off the top of my head, Jim Legacy is probably Record of the Year. Black British Music is a great album. If you haven't listened to that, please go listen to it. But those two in particular, I just wanted to spotlight because they had some of my favorite songs on here, or some of the better production spots on here. Then you got Chapter 16 with Kano. Now this is a song on here where it just feels like a moment. Kano is like giving him the OG talk. They have this back and forth and this great chemistry with each other that just feels right. Again, I'm still pretty new to a lot of the UK lore when it comes to rap, but I can tell you right now, this moment between him and Kano was a real moment. There was a part of the song where Kano was giving him some OG advice. This bar right here from Kano got me. But keep a piece of yourself when you're selling you. The game ain't for the throne. The kings are checkable. It's to be a better you. Envy is inevitable. I love the interaction that Kano and Dave have, and it just felt like big bro giving little bro some advice, passing the torch. That Chapter 16 song is a moment, and I haven't been over here in the UK to understand, or I haven't studied enough UK rap to understand how big of a moment it is, but I'm smart enough to know that that was a huge moment for hip hop over here, and my God, what a wonderful song that is. Later on in the album, there's a song called Fairchild, which is a very heavy song featuring Nicole Black. You are wonderful. What you gave to this song, great. It was wonderful. It shows a lot of courage. This song deals with the reality of violence against women. It goes very deep. It is very descriptive, but it's necessary, especially living over here in the UK. You understand why he put this type of song out there, because he gets into how assault happens over here and how it's not always strangers. And he just digs really, really deep into something that has been a problem here in the UK for a very long time. The way it's been policed, the way people talk about it, the way things go when these types of things happen. Dave digs really deep into it, and just having Nicole Black on here just solidifies how important to have these types of songs. I wish rappers would tackle social issues like this all the time, because when we hear the big wigs do it, it actually means something. He took time out to put a song that, could have easily been a throwaway song on his platform or on his album to let people know this is a real problem. We need to be handling these things. The last song on here is called The Boy Who Plays Harp. It's basically the title of the album. Perfect way to close this album, because Dave gets into the responsibility of being named David. He equates that to David in the Bible. For a lot of people who don't know, David in the Bible was a musician. He was a poet. David in the Bible did different things. Like, he played the harp to soothe Saul, and I feel like he's equating that to what he does with his music. might be a reach, but it just feels like he's making those comparisons and just understanding the weight of being called David. A lot of the song also talks about what he does with his platform and could he speak out more about different things. It's a great song because the theme is wonderful. The production is very, very cool. This album in whole just encompasses a lot of different things when it comes to your spirituality, to having friendships and relationships, and just what you would do. What do you do with your platform or your voice? Do you do enough? You know what I'm saying? Dave just took it to a different level on here, and that's why I feel like this is one of the best albums that came out in 2025. A lot of artists try to do that, and they end up coming off as preachy. Dave, with his pen, just figured out how to make it sound good, and he just hooked up with the right people to produce this album to make it feel good. With all that being said, let's get into some things that didn't work on this album. And it's not many. It's just a few things, and maybe this is just me nitpicking, but there's a few times that the album drags. I think the song Selfish is a beautiful album, but it's just a little too slow for my taste. I think that it threw the pacing off of the album just a little bit, but I love the song and I think it's good, but you have to be in a certain type of mode to appreciate that song. And then you had the other song called Rain Dance featuring Tim's, which, again, great choice for a feature. Tim's did her thing on here. She sounds like an angel. You sound so great on here. The song feels super mainstream, or it feels like, you know, this is the hit. This is the one we're going to put out there and let people get the feels off of. That's what it felt like to me. It's not a bad song at all. It just didn't carry the same emotional weight than a lot of the other songs on this album. But if I had to nitpick two things, it would be those two songs, and that's it. Dave has really given us something that's a spiritual check-in. He's not doing this just for himself. He's doing it for us too. Like, it feels like we got to have a little self-check over what we're doing in our spirit as well, man. I think that's dope. It really feels like Dave is maturing into a different man. It feels like he's turning a chapter in his life. And when people do those types of albums, we should listen to it more, because this is what we ask of our artists. We ask them to evolve. We ask them to grow, and we want to grow with them. He doesn't sound like a perfect guy. He's going through steps and he's stumbling along the way, which is fine. The production complements everything on this album. There's no beat that sounds out of place on here. I think that every song flows into each other very well. I think that it really fits a lot of the themes. Like the beats matches the themes completely, just works for me. Everything on here is just right. Like, it's not too fast, it's not too slow. Dave just figured out how to put together a very complete and great album. I love it when artists don't sound preachy when they're talking about this. Like, he ain't trying to be Lecrae. He still gives us a little bit of street sense, but he doesn't position himself as the person who has all the answers. He's figuring it out just like everybody else is. This album came just at the right time for me while I'm trying to reconnect with God and be more of a faithful person, or more of a praying person, somebody who's trying to be more spiritual in his life. And maybe I'm being biased because of this album dropping and how I'm feeling at the same time. This album is emotional, it's reflective, it's spiritual, it's grounded, it's a lot of different things. The production is very on point with everything that he's talking about. There's not a lot of albums that can connect all of the dots and make you feel good about reconnecting with God and understanding who you are as a person, turning that next chapter. This is one of those albums that you don't feel ashamed, because even though you got the bars on here that's talking more about spirituality, you still get a lot of stuff that is more about sitting down, having a conversation with your homeboy, or whatever the case may be. Dave sat down and crafted one of the best albums of 2025. I don't know where I'm going to fit it because so much great music came out, but I love the honesty, I love the vulnerability, and I love the fact that Dave wanted to be upfront about everything that's going on in his life. What did you think about the album? Was this one of your favorite albums of 2025? Did you relate to a lot of the themes on here? Let me know down in the comments. That's all I got for y'all today. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back on Sunday with some of the news that's happened throughout this week. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.
Like, he say the most ridiculous shit, but it sounds so cold when he just rapping.